Tonight on the Northwestern News Report. Federal funding frenzy. An update on Northwestern's response to the uncertainty regarding government funds.
And an exclusive one-on-one with Evanston's police chief. We sit down with the first woman to be named Illinois Police Chief of the Year.
Plus, Easter eggs? In this economy? How the annual hunt went down this season.
Those stories and more tonight on the Northwestern News Report.
It's your news
right now. Good evening and welcome to the Northwestern News Report.
It's great to have you with us here on this Tuesday evening. I'm Aria Wozniak.
And I'm Mila Branson. We have a lot of news to get to, so let's dive right in. We begin tonight with how Northwestern is pushing back on the Trump administration's efforts to freeze federal funding for the university. Our Logan Schijano joins us now in the studio. Logan, it sounds like critical research on campus is still safe for now. How is that?
Yeah, Mila. Well, shortly after reports started surfacing of the Trump administration freezing over $790 million in funds for Northwestern, the university reported that it had received over 100 stop work orders on projects in schools like Feinberg, Weinberg, and McCormick. But since then, the university has come out and said that it will continue to fund the research that has been impacted by stop work orders. That was just under a week ago. Now, the email to the community announcing this news came from President Michael Schill and the chair of the Board of Trustees. They said in part, quote, "The work we do is essential to our community, to the nation, and to the world. Enabling this vital research to continue is among our most important priorities, and supporting our researchers in this moment is a responsibility we take seriously." They said later in the email that we continue to urge fiscal responsibility, including the conservative use of funds to help minimize university risk and extend the time that Northwestern can support our research community. And Mila, I should note the university says it still hasn't received official notice from the Trump administration about that funding freeze.
And Logan, Northwestern hasn't shied away from promoting its research, even when it's been threatened by the administration.
No, it has not, Mila. In fact, they are leaning into their research efforts, posting kind of an update to the university website late last week, changing the homepage to draw attention to the university's funding efforts. And when you click on that Learn More tab, you're brought to this page dedicated solely to highlighting projects and initiatives around the university. Those initiatives and projects the university calls life-saving. And this is very similar to something that Harvard did to its website a couple weeks ago. You can see Harvard's website, what it looks like, completely outfitted with various news articles drawing attention to research on that campus. Now, Harvard notoriously rejected a long list of demands from the Trump administration before seeing $2.2 billion in federal funds frozen for that university.
Thank you, Logan, for being with us tonight.
Amidst the uncertainty involving federal funds, as Logan just discussed, Northwestern graduate workers and faculty held a press conference last Wednesday to encourage university to resist pressure from the Trump administration, and our Nora DeCruz was there.
Stand up, fight back! What do we do? Stand up, fight back!
Calling for change, NUGW and faculty want the university to stand up to the Trump administration.
Night before bed, I go through the mental list of my students, friends and colleagues to make sure I've heard from all of them that day. On any given day, they could be abducted in broad daylight.
They spoke about the fear they feel, continuing research, protesting, and as international students and faculty.
It's not just the ethereal thing that can happen, it's a thing that's actually happening.
Several campus groups, including Northwestern's branch of the American Association of University Professors, Jewish Voices for Peace, and Students Organizing for Labor Rights, came together to demand that President Schill stand up.
So I'm hoping that from now on, Northwestern stands with universities like Harvard and Princeton with a refusal.
Harvard recently decided to defy the Trump administration's orders. Fellow members of the Big Ten have also formed a protective coalition. Organizers feel the university's stance is unclear as research projects face uncertainty and DEI-focused web pages and language removed.
They're supposed to be there to serve us, and instead they're really abdicating from that responsibility.
However, in an email to students and faculty, President Schill addressed threats to research, quote, to support them in this period of uncertainty. The university, after consultation with the Board of Trustees, will fund research that is subject to stop work orders or the federal funding freeze. Now, a year later, on the very same field as last spring's encampment, demands for transparency and noncompliance. Faculty met to vote on 10 resolutions concerning these demands to President Schill and the Board of Trustees on Monday.
The mission of education is really on us as faculty and as the students and as the staff.
A demonstration followed the press conference later that evening, continuing the sentiment.
I've always seen my activist work, my progressive work, as a fundamental part of my education. And if I can't do it, then my education is dramatically incomplete.
Nora DeCruz, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Nora. The Faculty Assembly voted last night to pass the resolution containing several demands outlined in the press conference and protest. With a vote in favor 338 to 83, the legislation is now being forwarded to President Schill.
While federal funding and university research is a rapidly changing landscape, undergraduate research at Northwestern seems to be safe for now. This month, the Office of Undergraduate Research awarded over $1 million to students through Summer Undergraduate Research Grants, or SURGE. The program funds students in all areas of study pursuing independent full-time research projects. Each recipient is given a $4,000 living stipend to cover their expenses during an 8-week period where they're required to work on their project. Students may also receive additional funding for international travel. Director of Undergraduate Research Peter Savetta says all money for undergraduate research comes directly from Northwestern, meaning the federal funding freeze has not had a direct impact on undergraduate grant funding. Savetta says he is confident about the future of research at Northwestern.
There has been such long-term, dedicated support that, you know, I believe in that, and I believe that there's going to be opportunities that we're going to continue.
We will continue to monitor the university funding landscape and report on any updates in the coming weeks.
Turning now to beyond campus, the Trump administration's first 100 days have been met with opposition from many Americans, including here in Chicago. Now, crowds gathered in Chicago's Daley Plaza last Saturday for the second time this month to protest against administration policies.
March while you still can.
Chicagoans gathered downtown this Saturday to protest against what they call the Trump administration's executive overreach.
They are breaking down the separation of powers. These people are not keeping the American people in their forethoughts of their actions.
The protest, organized by the 50-51 movement, comes as the Trump administration faces criticism over new tariffs. A sweeping reduction of the federal workforce.
My organization lost about 70% of its funding. We expand access to essential health services in Africa, South Asia, and the Middle East.
And court-contested deportation flights to El Salvador.
They're bypassing courts. They're bypassing the law. They're not listening. We've seen it in history where law enforcement is used as a political body to enforce its extremist policies and to, kidnap people, to silence people, and is doing all these policies nonstop everywhere.
The crowd moved along North Clark Street and the Loop, calling for people to unite in support of democracy and the Constitution.
You will have to build the type of society that gives you the type of freedoms that you need to live your life, to pursue happiness. I have grandchildren on the way, and I'm not going to have them live in a fascist autocracy.
Protesters say further demonstrations against the Trump administration will continue in the following weeks. Reporting in Chicago, Jason Shing, Northwestern News Network.
That was our reporter Jason Shing. Thanks, Jason. We'll have much more political reporting on our Politicat special next month.
Evanston Police Chief Shanita Stewart just made history as the first woman to earn Illinois Police Chief of the Year. NNN's Allison Miller sat down with Stewart to see what's changed since she started serving the Evanston community almost 3 years ago.
Commander in Chief, how are you? It's good to see you. So good to see you. How have you been?
As you can see from my office with the photos, I take a lot of pride in where I come from, the legacies before me.
Evanston Police Chief Shanita Stewart is a fourth-generation Evanstonian.
My family is everything. That is why I do what I do.
Stewart is no stranger to breaking ground in her community. This month, she earned the Chief of the Year award from the Illinois Association of Chiefs of Police.
You're the first woman ever in Illinois to get that honor.
It's an honor to be the first in anything you do. So I'll hold that dear to my heart.
Stewart is also Evanston's first female police chief. Since she started in October 2022, she says she's been working to transform the department, focusing on accountability, inclusivity, and mental health.
One of the most important things to me is officer wellness. You know, I want to take away the stigma that you can't go get help for anything. I can tell you right now, I can leave this office and I can find support right down the hall, because that's what we're doing here as a team.
She's developed a police department transparency hub to put department data all in one place. And under her lead, supporters say the statistics speak for themselves.
It has now been 2 full years without a homicide in Evanston. You have to go all the way back to the 1970s to find 1 calendar year where there was not a murder.
The Evanston City Council honored Stewart for her leadership last week.
And I hope the officers within our department, as they move on and maybe become chiefs themselves, that they take a little bit of Chief Stewart in Evanston with them.
While Stewart was the one to receive the award, she says that honor should be shared.
I think it's kind of the city team winning, the police department winning.
In Evanston, Allison Miller, Northwestern News Network.
More information about the department can be found on the Police Transparency webpage and in the Evanston Police Department app.
Evanston Mayor Daniel Biss's quest to fill an open seat on the Land Use Commission took an unexpected turn over the weekend when his nominee withdrew their name from consideration. Now, Biss had planned to bring affordable housing advocate Kat Vielma's appointment to a vote at City Council on April 28th, but that decision had been pushed back, with residents calling out some of Vielma's past posts on social media. In a statement to NNN, Vielma said in part, quote, "I withdrew from consideration for the Land Use Commission once it became clear that my passion for communicating complex housing issues across different mediums and tones was seen as a distraction rather than an asset." Biss has faced his fair share of criticism for not reappointing George Halleck to the commission. Halleck's first term ended at the end of last month. The mayor told NNN he supports Vielma's decision to withdraw and said in part, quote, "I hope we can use this as a situation as a reminder of the value of showing grace to those we disagree with, as well as those who volunteer their time and talent for the betterment of our community." Biss also says he'll continue to work to fill the vacancy promptly.
The Dillo Carnival is coming to town in just 25 days, with anticipation building for its arrival. Mayfest Productions announced its daytime headliner for this year's festival earlier today, rapper Big X the Plug. Big X was named Amazon Music's next breakthrough artist in 2024, following the release of Back on My BS, his first song to make the Billboard Hot 100. Mayfest also revealed another main stage performer earlier this week, Raven Lenae. The Chicago native's single, Love Me Not, is currently number 79 on the Billboard Hot 100. She previously toured with SZA and No Name and performed at Coachella this month. Students can register for their free tickets on the Norris box office through May 13th. Guest tickets are $30. Students were psyched to attend an author-speaker event. We've got the story next.
I'm Kelly McEvers, founding host of the NPR podcast Embedded.
I'm James Edwards, host of the Unresolved podcast from Frontline.
I'm Antonia Cereijido, former senior producer of Anything for Selena podcast and current executive producer at Elias Studios.
My narrative, since I've been locked up and kind of made my transition, has been like redemption, accountability.
When I come into the classroom environment, every individual that sits amongst me takes education seriously.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Northwestern students are changing the narrative around psychedelics from taboo to treatment. NNN's Michaela Potter has a story.
LSD and psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms, are more than just potent hallucinogens. Author Benjamin Breen discusses his new book, Tripping on Utopia, and the history behind psychedelic therapy.
These substances have been around for a long time. Some of them are being sort of quasi-legalized. Some of them are legalized now, like ketamine, which is a kind of psychedelic.
Psychedelics haven't always had an admirable reputation. Members of the Society for Psychedelic Studies are working to understand why.
The first time I ever heard about psychedelics, I learned about it as a bad drug, or I learned about it as the hippie movement.
Breen analyzes his historic findings and gives credit to anthropologists like Margaret Mead and Gregory Bateson, whose relationship to psychedelic substances changed the outlook of these drugs.
It's just hard to comprehend the actual scale of what the landscape looked like in the 1950s, and I think it's really cool that Professor Breen has done so much research into just that.
As the political climate changes, this club tries to start conversations about a topic once considered taboo.
I think that we're at a really important and exciting time in history where psychedelics are starting to come back into the public eye. And I think it's really important that people are discussing them in kind of an academic and responsible sense.
Northwestern students taking their passions outside of the classroom in hopes of sparking a new movement. Michaela Potter, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Michaela. The Society for Psychedelic Studies has speaker events once a month to give deeper insights into the evolving world of psychedelics.
Northwestern women's lacrosse made history on Thursday, setting an attendance record on Lacrosse Night in Chicago. In total, over 3,000 fans filled Northwestern Medicine Field at Martin Stadium, the highest attendance in Northwestern lacrosse history. Local lacrosse teams were encouraged to attend. Wildside provided incentives to Northwestern students, and the temporary bleachers on the Lakeville all factored into the record-setting event. The game itself made history for the Cats too, with Northwestern beating the Michigan Wolverines 15-6. The victory enabled the Cats to clinch their third consecutive Big Ten championship. Northwestern earned the #1 seed in the Big Ten tournament, and they'll play either Penn State or Johns Hopkins on Friday night.
A new student-written musical made its campus debut this past weekend. NNN's Paris Franzway went behind the scenes to find out how the premiere went and what is next for them.
From classroom to Kentucky bar, the cast of Misconnections welcomes audiences into Southeast Tavern on the day it closes forever.
Our writers were originally inspired by Craigslist Misconnections and just seeing what happens when two people are about to connect and it veers off.
The student musical is supported by the Los Angeles Theater Initiative, also called Lottie.
You are learning so much through this process, and I love getting to help all these college students do that.
Lottie's phenomenal. It's really cool that they've given us the opportunity to put on a brand new show, that they are so excited about new work by really young artists.
Since the group isn't technically a registered student organization, they don't get the same university support.
It definitely makes things a little bit more difficult when it comes to finding a performance venue or even rehearsal venues. And trying to work out a lot of the logistics that being a student org really helps out.
But their venue search struggles led them to this basement classroom in 555 Clark. They turned it into an intimate theater setting great for audience interaction.
Every single chair has like this curved table in front of it, and as a result it kind of makes it so that the audience is at the bar, and that level of immersion and having a pre-show where they can feel like they're a part of it was really important to us.
This is only the show's first stop. With Lottie's support, they're taking the musical to Scotland this summer for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
The magical thing is the entire city of Edinburgh basically transforms into theatrical venues. So conference rooms become theaters, restaurants become theaters, classrooms become theaters, trailers become theaters.
It's just really exciting. We can't wait to bring this work with us abroad and get to perform it.
Between now and the festival, the show will change.
It will evolve. Since it's a new work, we're very lucky we've gotten to play with it as much as we'd like.
Missed Connections, hoping to break a leg in Edinburgh. Paris Franzway, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Paris. Lottie and Northwestern students are already starting on next year's performance called Despicable, a parody grusical, a twist on the Despicable Me movies. The hottest thing in recreational sports, that's right, pickleball is coming to Evanston this summer with dedicated outdoor courts. That's coming up after the break.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Ready, set, Yano!
Evanston's first dedicated outdoor pickleball courts are coming to James Park this summer. I have more on the win for pickleballers.
Elder Dos Santos loves pickleball. Nice shot. He plays 3 to 4 times a week, often with his wife Diane. But time on the court usually means leaving Evanston.
Go to Wilmette, Glenview, Buffalo Grove, and some other places.
As of now, there are no dedicated outdoor pickleball courts in Evanston. But last fall, Dos Santos and a group of other Evanston pickleballers set out to change that. They posted an online petition that received over 600 signatures in just 1 week.
We thought it would be a way to show Parks and Rec that we were serious and that the community was serious about really wanting these courts.
Evanston pickleballers can grab their paddles because the tennis courts here behind me at James Park will soon be turned into 15 new pickleball courts.
I see it as a tool and a resource that we have to get more Evanstonians moving.
Beatty, a business development manager for Universal Gaming Group, has been working with Dos Santos and a committee of other pickleball enthusiasts to help Evanston Parks and Recreation plan and design the courts. In addition, the park will have soundproof fencing and an adaptive court for players in wheelchairs.
I think it's got a chance to be truly intergenerational because you've got kids playing all the way up to, older adults in their later years.
Evanston resident and pickleball skills trainer Jerron Watkins says the new courts offer a place to meet other players.
It's a social thing. You could treat it however you want, a social thing, a competitive thing. So I just think it's a great thing when you're able to meet other people.
Parks and Rec is currently accepting contractor bids for the project and plans to begin construction this summer.
So, Arya, have you ever played pickleball before?
I have. I love pickleball, and I wish it wasn't so rainy because then we could get out there and play.
I know, me too. Today was pretty nice, though. We could have gone out today, and perfect for Earth Day as well.
Exactly.
We actually have Emmanuel here in the studio right now. Emmanuel, will we be able to get back on the courts soon?
Well, happy Earth Day, first of all. To answer your question, yes, spring is springing, and it is evident with this stationary front right over at Chicago and Evanston that is allowing for those scattered showers, those scattered clouds, and keeping those temperatures mild. Currently, it is 62 degrees with cloudy skies. For the rest of the evening, our temperatures will rise into the mid-60s before dropping into the 50s. Onto our temperatures, they are starting to rise. A bit closer to the lake, it is cooler. 61 in Evanston, then 4 miles down the road, 70 degrees in Skokie, 71 at O'Hare Airport, 63 in Chicago, and 72 at Midway Airport. Looking at our radar, we do have developing storms and clouds to our south that will push forward into Evanston and Chicago just before they disappear, and then tomorrow morning we'll have a second round of showers for our morning commute. Onto our 5-day forecast, we're looking at spring-like highs across the board with temperatures in the 60s. Starting off on Wednesday, we'll have a temperature of 64 degrees with scattered showers. Then on Thursday, those temperatures will still stay in the 60s with a high of 62 with cloudy skies. Then on Friday, opening that weekend up, we have on and off showers and storms with temperatures sitting at 62. Then on Saturday, we'll have mainly cloudy skies. Look at our temperatures dropping down to 49. Then on Sunday, those temperatures will rise up to 60 degrees once again with cloudy skies.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Looking forward to warmer days coming soon.
In just 2 minutes, we take you to an Egg-celent event. Don't go anywhere.
Trying to work my way out of the prison system was the most difficult challenge of my life. It only became tangible once I became a Northwestern student.
One, two, three, four.
My relationship with Giannis is unique. We're from the same country, we're from the same city. Being a Northwestern alum, I think, has tremendous advantages in the sports industry. To me, that community, it's been with me for 20 plus years.
Well, this weekend, kids celebrated a hoppy Easter at Evanston's Arboretum Egg Hunt. NNN's Rachel Spears went to see if the event was all it was cracked up to be.
Face painting, bunny hop races, and an egg hunt filled Eggleston Park with laughter and a little bit of friendly competition on Saturday morning.
It's like a critical part of just kids growing up, getting dirty, being in nature, like experiencing stuff, you know. We live right next to a big city with a lot of concrete, and the more we can get exposed to nature and stuff like that, the better it is.
Bella, who is 6, had a favorite part of the egg hunt.
To get eggs and to run around.
Participants ages 1.5 and up were able to hunt for eggs throughout the park and then return them in exchange for prizes and activities to play with at home.
Our focus is to have these supplies be reusable from year to year and make sure that kids can have a fun and rewarding experience and, you know, not just take home a bunch of stuff.
The laid-back environment gave them space to enjoy all the games and activities available.
It's not as hectic as some of the other ones. It's a little more nature-based and not so much just the consumerism of it all.
Some parents chose this particular egg hunt because of its efforts to reduce waste and increase sustainability.
The Arboretum Egg Hunt is one of Evanston Parks and Rec's many special events, all of which try to be as sustainable as possible.
Genesis, who is 4, enjoyed getting her face painted and collecting eggs. She said her favorite part of the event was
jumping.
In the end, all 750 eggs found their way back to the mother wood duck who had lost them in a storm the night before. Rachel Spears, Northwestern News Network.
Thanks, Rachel. Congrats to the Golden Egg winners and everyone involved for an egg-sighting event. Now, how was your Easter? What'd you end up doing?
You know, no egg hunts for me this year, but I did get to go out to dinner with my parents, which was really nice. What about you?
That sounds lovely. I just spent some time outside, spent some time with friends. It was overall wonderful.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight.
Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stay tuned in for our Earth Special coming up next. I'm Ari Wozniak.
And I'm Mila Branson. Have a good evening. Good night.